have gone through the osteology of the humerus. So today we will discuss the attachment on the muscle of humerus. Bony landmarks we have already done. Now, as you know, the humerus bone is a long bone. It has got the upper end, lower end, and a shaft. So the different muscles are attached on the different part of the bone. So we will start from the upper end. On the upper end, the muscles attached are the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, subscapularis. Now, the supraspinatus, it is attached on the most upper portion of the greater tubercle. Then the infraspinatus, it is attached on the middle impression, on the humerus, the teres minor lower impression of the greater tubercle. Whereas the subscapularis is attached on the lesser tubercle. Now the tendon of these four muscles, they form a cuff around the anterior, posterior and superior aspect of the shoulder joint, and collectively known as the rotator cuff. Easy to remember the names of the muscle is supraspinatus, I for infraspinatus, T for teres minor, S for subscapularis. The rotator cuff, as we discussed, is made up of the four muscles. They join together and they provide strength to the shoulder joint. You can see their arrangement is such a way that they can hold the joint and provide a strength to joint and stabilizes. In the shoulder, we are elevating, rotating the arm and other activities. So, if you compare the head of the humerus with the glenoid cavity, there is a lot of difference. So, if you compare this joint with the lower joint, with the hip joint of the lower limb, that is ball and socket variety of the joint. Here again you can see the muscles, that is the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus. You can see the teres minor, you can see the subscapularis. Here again you can see this lesser tubercle, the greater tubercle, upper, middle and lower impressions. So supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor and lesser tubercle, subscapularis. Here in this diagram you can see the supraspinatus muscle, the infraspinatus, right, the teres minor and the subscapulars. How they are going to hold these structures and they provide strength to the shoulder joint. Insertion in the region of the basipital groove, you are already aware. The latissimus dorsi, floor of the intertubercular sulcus. You can see the pectoralis major, lateral lip of the basipital groove. The teres major, medial lip of the basipital groove. So, it is sometimes easy to remember, is termed as a lati between two majors, because pectoralis major and teres major and latissimus dorsi. Content of the basipital groove, the tendon of the long head of the biceps and its synovial sheath. See the synovial sheath and the tendon of the biceps. The ascending branch of the anterior circumflex humeral artery, you can see here, this is the ascending branch of the anterior circumflex humeral artery. This is the short and the long head of the biceps muscle. Muscles attached on the shaft. There is the lateral head of the triceps, medial head of the triceps, and the brachialis. The lateral head of the triceps, it takes origin from the upper half of the posterior surface of the shaft of humerus above the radial groove. You can see here, this is the origin for the lateral head of the triceps. The medial head of the triceps, lower half of the posterior surface of the shaft of the humerus. So, this is the medial head of the triceps, lower half of the posterior surface of the shaft of the humerus. The brachialis, front of the lower half of the humerus, that is from the anteromedial and anterolateral surface of the shaft. You see here? See the brachialis muscle. The deltoid muscle, it is inserted on the middle of the lateral surface of the shaft. You might have gone through the deltoid tuberosity on the humerus, so it is attached on the middle lateral surface of the shaft that occupies the deltoid tuberosity. The coracobrachialis is inserted into the rough area from the medial, on the middle of the medial border. On the middle of the medial border, you can see here, this is the coracobrachialis muscle. Here you can see the deltoid muscle inserted over here and the coracobrachialis. The brachioradialis rises from the upper two-thirds of the lateral supracondylar ridge. This is the brachioradialis that takes origin from the lateral supracondylar ridge. Extensor carpi radialis longus rises from lower one-third of the lateral supracondylar ridge. The common extensor origin, the superficial extensor muscles of the forearm, they have got a common origin from the lateral epicondyle. The aconius, it arises from the posterior surface of the lateral epicondyle. This is the posterior surface. So, it takes origin from the posterior surface of the lateral epicondyle. You can see muscles of the arm, the forearm, the extensor digitorum, extensor carpi radialis brevis, extensor carpi radialis, right? This is extensor carpi ulnaris. This is the extensor retinaculum. Pronator teres humeral head rises from the lower one-third of the medial supracondylar ridge, medial epicondyle. So, the pronator teres take origin from the lower one third of the medial supracondylar region of the medial epicondyle. The common flexors origin. The common flexor muscles of the forearm arise by a common origin from the anterior aspect of the medial epicondyle. So here was the common extensor in the lateral, and on the medial side as the common flexors origin. You can see the flexor carpi radialis, palmars longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, right? This is the common point of origin. So Prodromus gyrus, flexor carpi radialis, palmars longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. We see also the attachment of the capsular ligament. Capsular ligament of the shoulder joint attached to anatomical neck except on the medial side where it also includes a small area of the shaft. Also provides an aperture for the tendon of long head of the biceps. Attached on the anatomical neck. So you might have gone through the head of the humerus. There is a surgical neck and the anatomical neck. So it is attached to the anatomical neck except on medial side where it also includes a small area of the shaft. Also provides an aperture for the tendon of long head of the biceps. Anteriorly, the upper limit of the coronoid and radial fossa. Posteriorly, upper limit of the olecranon fossa. Medially, between the trochlea and the epicondyle. Trochlea and the epicondyle. Laterally, between the capitulum and epicondyle. So, it has got attachment all around.